Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that I have plot synopsis and character bios for these issues. So we are going to get started on the origin of X Factor. So we are going to start with Avengers 263 from 1985. And then we're going to be doing Fantastic Four 286. Now, these videos are not going to be nearly as long as normal because I'm really not going to concern ourselves or at least with the what's going on in the respective titles, because all we really care about is the return of Jean Grey. So instead of reading like I normally do, it's going to be more of narrate. So here we go. We've got a great cover here by John Buscema and Tom Palmer Jr., the regular team in Avengers. So what lurks within the cocoon? So here we've got Captain America, Namor, we've got the Black Knight, we've got Hercules, and we have Captain Marvel. During this time, Monica Rambeau was Captain Marvel. All right, here we go. So we are in JFK in New York, and this airplane here is waiting for takeoff. Inside are members of the Enclave. Their names doesn't matter, but it's more like Shinsky and Zota. And they're trying to leave New York City aboard their private airplane, hoping to keep a low profile and not be arrested. However, this proves to be a faint hope, because here comes the NYPD. Real quick, here is the credits for this first story: Roger Stern, John Buscema, Tom Palmer. Writer and artist, and then Mark Grandwald and Jim Shooter take on the editorial. So the NYPD is racing toward them down the runway here. And so the Enclave here is gonna attempt to make a daring getaway, but here comes another airplane, and they end up crashing to it and going into the water here, which I believe is Jamaica Bay in there, and you can see the airplane here has caught fire. Why is it in fire on the wing? I don't know, since that portion probably wouldn't be where the fire is, and the fuel is normally kept in the wings. So you can see this cop here saying he wants ambulance, he wants a dredging crew, he wants divers, he wants everything here. But then there is a big explosion, a big energy, um, uh, a pulse, a powerful energy pulse here. So, and then of course, what lurks below. So, meanwhile, at the Avengers Mansion, Captain America, Wasp, and the Black Knight are present here, as Captain America is going to try to attempt to explain to their government liaison by the name of Raymond Sikorsky that they are accepting the Submariner as a member of the team. The Wasp and Cap convince Sikorsky that Namor is a worthy member of the team, and gets an update on restoring their security clearance. And the Black Knight here can't help but marvel at the Wasp in action and wonders if she would be interested in dating him. So, and like I said, we are just sort of really the whole point of the story, as I mentioned, is the return of Jean Grey. Elsewhere in the mansion here, Hercules and Captain Marvel show Submariner to his quarters. However, Namor takes a detour into Hercules' room, and the Prince of Atlantis marvels at the layout and tries to talk the Greek god into giving up his room. Wary then, the two of them, of course, are Hercules doesn't want to do that, and so she's wary of breaking up yet another fight in the mansion. Captain Marvel decides to leave the men to sort it out on their own. And so this entire page is just introspective here. She's going to spend the entire page thinking about her position with the Avengers and the Submariner's recent admission into the group. And then Captain Marvel is going to come to terms with the fact that she doesn't really trust Namor. So a lot, just basically, that's the whole point. And I marvel at the screen tones that are used. Tom Palmer is incredible at screen tones, and it's just, I love it. So before she can ponder this any further, she notices the energy pulse from Jamaica Bay and decides that she is going to investigate what's happening here. She arrives on the scene. She meets with the FBI agent, Derek Freeman, who fills her in on the situation. He goes to explain that while they recovered the Enclave members, whatever they were carrying was lost in the water, and that they had to send down a team of divers to recover it. But the divers are basically shot up through the water. And to prevent any more losses, Captain Marvel decides that she is going to investigate this herself. And I do apologize. I know that I'm just sort of skimming through, but I don't want to get bottled up in some of the subplots that are going to be sort of happening. And I just really want to just continue. Like I said, we're doing two stories, and I don't want to linger two stories. So I know this video is going to be a little different from what you're used to me doing. So I just want to keep apologizing for that. So Captain Marvel finds the goes through, sees this, and finds this cocoon here, this strange cocoon. And when she tries to approach it, you can see here, she receives a telepathic, no, 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 keep away, leave me alone. And she changes from her energy being back to human, and she needs to get to the surface before she drowns. So, which she obviously makes it. And so here we get to a subplot here. In a secret hideout base, the Melter here, who's a longtime Avengers foe, is monitoring the Avengers as one of the Quinjets leaves the mansion. He intends to use his new melting device to destroy the Avengers. And he's making plans with Keegan here. And when he goes to open his locker here, and he finds the real Keegan tied up inside, and the Melter basically turns around and he takes a shot through the stomach, which kills him. And this is a victim. If you see Justice is Served, during this time there was a bunch of stuff happening in all the titles, and this is revealed to be Scourge. And this story is actually completed in Captain America. So this actually won't even be finished in Avengers, but this is something that was running through a bunch of titles. And so, all right. So back at JFK, the Avengers arrive on the scene, and Captain Marvel provides them a sketch of what she saw. And what this happens is this reminds Captain America of the cocoon that Adam Warlock and his girlfriend would use to protect themselves, leaving them to realize that the Enclave may have created another artificial being. So, seeing this as a threat, Namor brashly dives into the water, but he, like everyone else that attempts to get too close to the cocoon, is ejected. So we see Namor is basically reamed by the Wasp for his lack of teamwork. And so they're going to send Captain Marvel here, or Captain Marvel kind of volunteers to talk with one of the Enclave, Professor Shinsky here. So the rest of the Avengers go down as a team here to approach the cocoon. And you can see here the energy is flickering, and the cocoon is going to fight them. So I love that. The sounds. So, so you can see the cocoon wants nothing to do with them or anyone bothering them. So, all right. So here in the hospital, Captain Marvel learns that whatever is in Jamaica Bay is not something that was created by the Enclave, which she wonders if the Enclavers didn't make it, uh, where did that thing come from? So again, look at these beautiful screen tones. Oh, Tom Palmer, rest in peace, and John Buscema as well. So Roger Stern is still with us as of this recording. So. And so the Avengers continue trying to push through here. And the Avengers realize that what they thought was a cocoon is really just silt and dirt that is from the water here. Captain Marvel arrives to tell them the Enclave had nothing to do with it. Hercules is going to charge. And then you can see here, no, please get back, stay away. And Hercules says it's weakening, and Wasp realizes that it's afraid and orders everyone to stand down. Now, this is important because I have covered the when the Avengers took on the Masters of Evil in a story arc called Under Siege, and you're gonna see a problem between Hercules and the Wasp here. So you can see Hercules here is hit. So the Wasp is going to communicate with the being inside the cocoon, or the Sinister here, and tell them that they're trying to help. The being inside the cocoon relent, and when all the silt washes away, they see this metal cylinder of some kind here. So the Avengers take the cylinder back to Avengers Mansion, and they're going to attempt to learn what it is. However, all they can figure out is that it's some kind of a stasis device, and that there is something that's alive inside. And then they check with NASA and various intelligence agencies, but no one can turn up any further answers. The Avengers are then asked to go back to Jamaica Bay and assist with the cleanup operation here. And the Avengers go ahead and leave Wasp's position, take all of us, but what the heck. And then we see here the cylinder and kind of smokiness and Scott. And so it reveals here that this is Jean Grey. And so the story now continues in Fantastic Four 286, like a phoenix. And so in Fantastic Four 286, great cover here. And you see it here. It continues here. X Factor. And we see Jean Grey. We see the Human Torch, the She-Hulk. The She-Hulk had replaced the Thing during John Byrne's run. We've got Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman, like a phoenix. And so John Byrne is the writer penciler. Terry Austin is the inker. and Jim Shooter and Mike Carlin. Mike Carlin actually would end up going into DC to be the uh, Superman editor. So the Fantastic Four are returning from a mission in space that happened in the previous issues here. Again, we are not going to concern ourselves with the story elements of what's been going on in Fantastic Four, but they're going to contact JFK to request a clearance to land. However, they are denied permission to land, and they say that the Avengers are there's an operation with the Avengers, and so they are told to land in LaGuardia instead, and that they'll take a taxi back to Manhattan as quickly as they can. So they arrive at the Avengers Mansion. They've been staying there, by the way, because their Baxter building had been destroyed. So this is the beginning. Eventually, it'll be Four Freedoms Plaza. But look at the bumper sticker, Reagan Bush. Um, Captain America and Hercules are inside waiting for them, and Captain America is going to tell them about what happened in Avengers 263 here, kind of giving a reader a recap in the event that they missed it, and tells them about the cocoon here. So when Reed here touches the cocoon, he's pushed back here, and you can see the invisible woman catches him here. Reed asks Susan to use her powers to turn the cocoon invisible, and she does, and it reveals that inside is a woman. They don't know it is Jean Grey, but a nice little detail is that she is still um, dressed as she did in when she was taken over by the Phoenix. So it's a nice detail here. So, and of course, Sue had enough and faints, because why not? Now, no one knows who she is, so they all wonder who it is. She-Hulk and Johnny are going to leave, and basically Captain America and Reed will try to solve it. And you can see some time has passed, maybe a little bit of time, as he has stubbles and hasn't been able to shave. So it's been about 8 hours. So I doubt he got so stubble, but I guess it's showing that he hasn't. That if you don't shave immediately, you do start getting stubble here. So they've been working for about 8 hours here, and then suddenly things start to levitate, being caused by Jean Grey's telekinetic powers. So everyone is basically floating, and so they need to get open up the pod, and so or they're wondering about the pod, but here the pod they're like wondering what it's going on, and it begins to crumble, and inside is a Jean Grey still talking about the ex Sentinels. So a nice detail being provided there by Byrne. So Reed tries to tell her, "Hey, this is Avengers Mansion. I'm Reed Richards," and she, of course, thinks of the uniform. Says, "Hey, they were blue costumes, not black." And then he tries to explain what's going on, but she believes, or she's hit by the invisible woman as they're kind of talking. She's using her telekinetic powers, and she's hit by invisible force field created by the invisible woman here, and so she thinks that this is a thing from Stephen Lang, like the robot X-Men that she was fighting back in I think it was Uncanny X-Men 100. Um, so the Invisible Woman creates a force field and then puts a force field around her, and now everybody falls. And uh, Cap yells out for Jarvis, and Reed Richards, of course, catches him. And so Jean Grey gives up and says, "Okay, creeps, you've won. Kill me." So of course they try to convince her, and she's like, "Hey, quit it with the charade." And she Reed Richards says for Sue to drop the force field. Hercules doesn't agree, but he's saying, "All right, force field down. I place her at your mercy." And then she's like, she you can see she's struggling here. She feels tired, and Jarvis offers her a seat, and then we get a recap of what happened between X Men's 98 through 100. And by the way, Wolverine was wearing the blue costume back then. So, oh, see the blue, the yellow and blue, and the robots. So we basically um get the continue the recap. So no one can figure out how she got into the pod here. So Jean Grey suggests that they contact Professor Xavier and the X-Men, and Captain America says no because the X-Men are considered outlaws and they're working with Magneto. I say Magneto, not Magneto. So, and of course she's surprised. She's like, that can't be unless they've been brainwashed. And so she says, "Hey, how about my parents? Can you get me home?" And so they says, "Okay, we'll do that." Reed says that's not a good idea. They believe her dead, and the sudden shock of seeing her again might. And then, of course, she realizes, "Oh no," and begins to cry. Hercules agrees with Reed, and Sue disagrees. She says, "I don't make a habit of disagreeing with you, darling, but I'm calling you on this one. Marvel Girl is on the verge of a nervous breakdown. She needs a familiar surrounding, things she can hook into, keep her from sailing over the edge." And of course, you see her saying, "Please, please." Beautiful work by Byrne. Um, so Mr. Fantastic goes ahead and agrees, and Hercules is gonna go with them. They ask Cap, and he says, "Maybe later. There's something I need to check out first." So they arrive at Jean's parents' house. The door's locked, so Hercules just bram crack. I love this. I find this so funny. Of course, she's like, "What the heck are you doing? Did you even try to get the spare key?" And so he apologizes, and so that's gonna be a nice surprise when they come home. And Hercules finds the hollow matrix that was given to her parents by Lilandra, and which Reed, of course, finds a fascinating, saying thousands of years uh, away from Earth's technology. No, not that quite. And so they think that if Jean touches it, she might figure out sort of what's happened. Um, and she reaches for it, but then she's afraid. Uh, so she pushes back. So Captain America at Avengers Mansion, he is seeing a report that was filed by the former Avenger and former X-Men Beast to see what has happened. And so he, of course, ends up calling the Beast, who explains to him from the beginning of the X-Men, then the space shuttle between X-Men 98 through 100, how she was transformed into the Phoenix, corrupted into Dark Phoenix, ended up killing herself to save the X-Men, finding retribution. And then Captain America wonders who the woman that the Avengers pulled out of Jamaica Bay is, thinking, is this the Phoenix? Is this Jean Grey? What is up? So we go back to the Grey's house, and Mr. Fantastic says she really should hold it, and she does. And now the memories are coming back. And so we, of course, get another recap here um, of what had happened here. Um, so Jean Grey and the X-Men were sent into that radiation shielded area in space shuttle while she piloted it, and of course she ended up taking over Lang, and then sends everybody, and she's basically saying her telekinetic can protect her. Cyclops protests, but she puts him puts him to sleep, and so they, of course, the um oh my goodness, the radiation is too much for her to try to contain it. By the way, Chris Claremont in Classic X-Men 8, I believe, did a beautiful recap of what happened. He did some supplemental material here. Um, and so then there's the light, and the Phoenix appears to her. And so she answered because she called for help, and the universe is going to basically help her. I love this part. Oh, great. I'm a figment of your imagination. So, and so she wants to save her friend. So the Phoenix is going to help her. So she takes it, and so puts Jean in the cocoon here. And so um, she ends up dropping this, but you can see Mr. Fantastic is going to catch it here. So here, Reed deducts that from the entity's own words, Miss Gray's own physicality, her body could not be easily restored. Incredible as it sounds, Jean may have in, imbued. I don't even know what that word means. Look it up, people. With the essence of herself, mentality, spirit, and even her soul, while simultaneously her original body was healing within the cocoon. So, and so Jean continues, your part of me feels fine. I have all my own memories, all my own. Hopes, loves, you see the problem, don't you? The energy creature forced itself to totally believe it was Jean in striving for some kind of authenticity, one might assume. And she says, but how can I ever know I'm really me and not that thing? How can I ever know for sure? And Captain America shows up and says, I think I can answer that. I caught the last few seconds of that psychic moviola as I was landing on my jet cycle. An unnerving experience. And so Cap said that the shuttle had actually ended up crashing in Jamaica Bay, and everyone came back. Everyone came back, and in fact, Jean Grey was better than ever, which of course everyone thought was her, but it wasn't her. So we get more exposition about how Jean actually helped defeat the Phoenix, her humanity, her soul, and that makes her feel better. You can see her kind of smiling as she's the one that helped defeat the Phoenix. And so we are now toward the end. So Jean wonders what to do with her life. She recounts a story to Jarvis, and Reed and Sue had discussed how they can help Jean. While they think the current team of X-Men would not be suitable, Reed realizes there's someone that he could call. And so he makes a call, and it says here, who is Reed calling? For the amazing answers, don't you dare miss the dramatic debut of Marvel's newest super hit sensation, X Factor. So, all right. So, we went over Avengers 263 and Fantastic Four 286, the preludes to X Factor and the return of Jean Grey. Like and subscribe, And I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.